I, a 31-year-old male, told my girl, a 30-year-old female, that she is not a trophy wife or status symbol and that we are similar in attractiveness. She views it as me calling her old and ugly. In other words, drama, drama, drama. I'm Dave, 31 years old. My girlfriend, Sarah, is 30. We've been together about a year now. I work as a high-level engineer at a pretty good firm, pulling in a solid salary. Sarah's a payroll specialist at a decent company too, but I make about 3 times what she does. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not about the money for me, but it is a comfortable position to be in. Things were pretty smooth between us, normal relationship stuff. We'd go out, hit up some good restaurants, just enjoy each other's company. I thought we were on the same page about a lot of things, especially our future. She used to talk about how she wanted to make her own way, even joked about starting her own sourcing and recruiting business with her sister. I liked that about her ambition, her drive. It felt like we were building something together, working towards a shared vision. I was all in. I started thinking about the long game, about settling down. We even started talking about rings a couple of months ago, where we'd have the wedding, whether we'd have kids, and if we'd send them to private school. I was excited about it. She was beautiful, seemed ambitious, and we just clicked. But then I made a move that, in hindsight, was probably a rookie mistake. I showed her my retirement and savings accounts. I know. My buddies would probably smack me upside the head for that one. I just thought we were at that point, that level of trust where we could share that kind of stuff. I was transparent because I thought she was too. I figured it would show her how serious I was, that I was financially stable and ready to build a future. Instead, it was like a switch flipped. Suddenly, she didn't see the point of working anymore. The talk about her own business faded, replaced by constant jokes about driving a Range Rover and wearing Lululemon to yoga. And it wasn't just jokes, it was a shift in her whole demeanor. She started framing our relationship like she was the beautiful one, and I was just the nerdy engineer, and I should be lucky to have her. Her ego inflated overnight. Before, she was all about making her own way, and now she's talking about quitting her job and living off my dime. It pissed me off. Honestly, it felt like she was insulting me, like my value was solely in my bank account, not in who I actually was. It wasn't about me anymore. It was about what I could provide. We had a few arguments about it. These subtle digs she'd throw in. She'd bring up how popular she was back in the day, how I was probably a nerd in college. I always brushed it off. But it started to grate on me. I tried to explain that I wanted us to be equals, to build something together, but it felt like she just wasn't listening. One night, the whole trophy wife thing came up again. She made some crack about how I was nerdy back in the day, while she was very popular, and how lucky I was to have her. I just snapped. I told her, straight up, you are not a trophy wife. Yes, you're attractive, but it's not a huge difference between us. I meant we were on the same level, that we were both good-looking people, not that one of us was significantly better than the other. I figured it was a fair assessment. I also added that maybe that had been the case when I met her when she was 22, but she wasn't 22 anymore. The words just came out. I wasn't trying to be mean. I was just trying to level the playing field, trying to make her see that we were partners, not some Beauty and the Beast fairy tale. As soon as the words left my mouth, her face crumpled. She started crying, hard, like a switch. The confident, slightly arrogant woman turned into a sobbing mess. She said I thought she was ugly and used up, that her best years were behind her. I didn't say any of that. I just said we were similar in attractiveness, and that the age difference in perceived attractiveness wasn't the same as when she was 22. But in her mind, it was all the same. She kept repeating, if you're not happy to be with me, then why are you even here? Stop wasting my time. It was classic emotional manipulation. She was trying to flip the script, make me out to be the bad guy for speaking the truth, for daring to challenge her inflated ego. I tried to talk to her, to explain what I meant, but she was in no state for a conversation. She just kept crying, refusing to listen to anything I said. It was like trying to reason with a brick wall. I thought about it for a while, after she finally calmed down and we went to separate corners of the apartment. I still thought we were of similar attractiveness. I mean, I don't think anyone looks at us and thinks, oh, she's with him because of money, or damn, he's so lucky to be with her. I genuinely thought it was mutual. She was the one who, if anything, pursued me first, or at least that's how I saw it at the time. I wanted us to be equals, and in my clumsy attempt to do that, I had clearly hurt her feelings. I didn't know what to do. I liked the fact we both worked, and I didn't want to change that dynamic. I didn't want her to think she was above me, that I was somehow lucky to have her. I wanted us to be a team, but now It was a mess. A few days later, things hadn't really improved. The tension in the apartment was thick enough to cut with a knife. I reached out to some buddies, trying to get some perspective. A lot of them said she was a gold digger. Plain and simple. I tried to defend her, saying she had really climbed her way up from university, had a good work ethic. I mean, she got a good job, so she obviously worked for it, right? And the whole Range Rover and Lululemon thing. I told them she was just joking about quitting her job. But even as I said it, I knew deep down she wasn't. She was biding her time, waiting for her provider. These guys were right. My buddies said she was just looking for someone like me. They pointed out that she dated guys that made more money than me, but they weren't willing to settle down. That's why she was with me, they said, because I was talking about marriage, about a future. The other guys didn't want that. They wanted younger girls. That hit hard. It made me question everything. I wanted her to feel special, like she was the most beautiful woman in the world, but I didn't like that she saw herself on a pedestal. And me as some inferior engineer, we had another discussion, and honestly, things just got worse. I tried to be logical, to explain my point of view, but she was coming from a place of pure emotion. She started bringing up the worst things I had said to her, completely out of context, conveniently leaving out the fact that she had basically been calling me ugly the whole time. She even brought up how my dad was awkward as hell. What the hell did my dad have to do with any of this? It was just a desperate attempt to wound me, to get under my skin. She kept bringing up my comment about her being a trophy wife at 22, but not at 30. Then she launched into this tirade about how all the engineers she's met have a chip on their shoulder for not getting laid in college. She said the bitterness was coming out, that we engineers feel entitled to a hot girlfriend because we couldn't date them in college. And that's why I made the comment to tear her down. She was right about one thing, though there are a lot of guys, engineers included, who were nerdy in college and didn't get much attention from girls. And yeah, a lot of them carry some bitterness, but they also do well for themselves, and they can get those girls now. The trick is, you can't trust the sincerity. That's what I kept telling myself. I just got so frustrated. I was tired of her belittling me, making me feel like I should be grateful for her presence. So, here, I snapped again. Yeah, I agree, I said, probably louder than I intended. I never was able to get the hot girls in college, and even with all the money I still make, I can't get them now. So unfortunately, I had to go secondhand, with a couple of wrinkles. The moment the word secondhand with a couple of wrinkles left my mouth, it was like I had detonated a bomb. Her eyes widened, then narrowed. You're calling me secondhand. You treat me like a used car, she shrieked. She called me a misogynist, said I was just like all the other bitter engineers, trying to tear down women because I couldn't get them when I was younger. It was ridiculous. She started this whole thing by saying I couldn't get the girls I supposedly really wanted, making this whole dating thing into a have and have not situation. And when I played her game back at her, she blew up. She was trying to make me feel bad, trying to control me, to make me feel so lucky to have her that I'd marry her quick and give her access to all my resources. I knew it, but still, I felt trapped. She'd say 10 bad things about me, call me ugly, tell me how lucky I was to be with her. But when I responded, she'd blow up and storm out. It was a no-win situation. I didn't know what the hell to do. We'd had fights before, but this felt impossible. Our communication, which I thought was decent, was now trash. I was open to talking, to working things out, but not if she was going to put me in some subservient position. She wanted control, pure and simple. The irony was, the guys who probably really got her hot, she couldn't control, maybe in her past relationships. She had the power, where guys were just so thrilled to be dating someone as attractive as her. But I wasn't okay with that dynamic. I didn't know what she wanted at this point. It felt like she was looking for a reason to break up. But then again, why would she? I was her meal ticket, her golden ticket to the damn chocolate factory. She wasn't looking to break up. She was looking to wear me down, to gain control, to bleed me dry. And the thought crossed my mind, chilling me to the bone, that she'd probably cheat on me, have a kid that wasn't mine, and then divorce me and take everything. That's what this was really about. She didn't love me. I knew it in my gut. Some people told me to break up with her, but I really was hoping to settle down soon. I hated the idea of starting from scratch all over again in dating. I'm 31, and I know that's not old. My prime is just beginning, but the thought of going through all the bullshit of dating again just felt exhausting. We had so many amazing times together, and I had envisioned such a good future with her. 2 months ago, we were talking about rings, about our wedding, about kids. That was probably my biggest mistake, talking about marriage and kids so soon. It gave her all the power, It told her, I got this guy, and now she was doubling down, trying to make me feel like I'd won some prize by getting her. It was all a game to her. I didn't want to let this go. I was willing to put in my all, but I wasn't going to be in a subservient position. I just couldn't figure out how to handle it properly. What the hell was I doing? She was using me. Plain and simple. The guys she really wanted before, the ones who made more money, they didn't want to marry her. So she moved on to me. And if I got rid of her, she'd just move on to another guy like me. Another guy she could control, who would marry her, and she could enjoy his resources. That's how they operate. It was a bitter pill to swallow, but it was the truth. This whole thing was drama. Nothing but drama. I put her in her place a little bit, and she lost her mind. The real takeaway from all this, for any guy out there, is that if you weren't rolling with the ladies when you were young, and now you're doing well, be careful, because they are using you for your resources. Have fun with them, but be very, very careful. Otherwise, you'll end up in a situation just like mine. I had no idea how it would end. My account of this whole mess was just out there, and I hadn't updated it. I was in a bind, and I felt like a fool.